That's what he does. So he put cameras on there, and his women were shooting right in my view. Okay. The neighbor goes online and sees his been being viewed. He calls his lawyer. Says, hey, what's going on here? You know?
The little flashers that tell you how fast you're going. You try to get the high score, right? Yeah.
Everybody's Kessler, how are you? Look good. No, I shake his hand. I cut my hand on fishing on the floor. Hey, buddy. Good. How you Sarah?
What's up, Tom? No, I'm done.
That's right.
We're gonna find out.
Yep. The one in the clip is city, and the other one is Linwood mayor.
Why don't we just, what we do, we call it, Summers Point Justice. Understand it?
It wasn't that much.
We'll make it very good. Lumber and business in like the city.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
He has a certain job.
What's his name?
Sean McVeigh.
Oh, no kidding.
A very interesting job.
Looks like a light brown out there. But I want to make sure you two are on your game tonight, Joe.
Oh, well, everybody, batter up.
Motion second.
Batter up.
Motion second.
Try to move it along.
We'll go motion second, motion second.
You're supposed to be on the cleanup committee.
I got know. Why are you yelling?
Like every other time.
Oh, really?
I'm going to write it and say, listen, you don't.
Yeah, they have to have some kids go out there and have a class when they're. So they have to have with them, so.
But speaking of,
They used to have it anyway. And after well, the road doesn't work.
When we were there, we just talked about.
I know.
Something in
So is this, so that's the old Broadway, right? So, sure. Right.
We literally had to build.
How are you? Good, thanks.
But is this, like, if you, like, use lot block, is this addressed somewhere?
I would say it's touch and go, but she's very, she's like in a deep sleep, lethargic. So, it's not going to take her with no IV care. And the CT scans. So I will say that, like, I'll look for permission now. They won't call it, but they have been great.
They do not have a lift line.
A market difference.
I've heard, I've heard over the years.
Training.
maybe it's just a different set of people.
That's true.
The upper level.
Yeah, they used to be tight, right?
Yeah, but that's what. So, and then down below.
We're live.
Oh, yeah. Geez, I can't believe it.
Yeah.
Good.
See here.
This doesn't understand.
Right.
Oh, that's not even, that's not understand.
Wait, so is this it?
Government work.
There's hardly any here.
So the other end of the ring says, just say no.
Could they make, yeah, well, I guess they would if they could, they can't.
The other end of the
They like put it down, right? Right. How much, what's the, 20?
We did too.
We always do.
Oh, but it's good.
My marriage started flooding.
Just that. So left undressed 20 years ago, and this is our property.
Yeah, you have a long way.
Remember, motion second.
Taking care of.
Dressed.
First, we like to change.
Who's gonna lead off?
Cleanup committee right here.
I don't get involved in that.
Big guardrail.
Get off with that. Yep.
So initially when it was trees, we planted them. Now, I reached out to the tree committees always,
Yeah. That's not my place. Joe, sometimes you have to know your place.
You don't know, you know that. That's something you forgot.
Yeah? Okay.
It's not an issue, okay?
That's a good idea. You guys. Yeah, that would be good.
Of course. You better be careful. She has been known to smack you at once.
Meeting is called to order. Will everyone please rise for the flag salute?
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May I have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Bruno? Here. Councilmember Owen?
Here.
Councilmember DePamphlis?
Here.
Councilmember McCary?
Here.
Councilmember McGuigan?
Here.
Councilmember Dill?
Here.
Council President Johnson?
Here. Also present is Mayor Glasser, Administrator Frost, City Clerk Samuelson, City Solicitor Smith, and Mr. Snyder is not here tonight. Pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act, adequate notice of this meeting has been provided. The agenda for this meeting is posted in City Hall and on the city's website, summerspointgov.org. I need a motion to waive the 48-hour rule to consider a bill list. It was an additional one to the one that was sent earlier, and also resolution number 217, hiring school crossing guards.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, does anyone have any communications to offer? Hearing none. Mr. Mayor?
Oops. Thank you, Council President. I just have a few things just to go over. The Veterans Advisory Board met one Monday night, and it's obviously we have a couple events coming up. Veterans Day, which will be Saturday, November 11th at 11 o'clock p.m. Patriots Park. At this time, I believe they've asked Dr. Larry Lemieux, who's a known chiropractor and served in the United States Marine Corps. So he will be our guest speaker. Also, Pearl Harbor Day service we held on Sunday, December 3rd at 1:00 p.m. at Summers Point Beach. And they're hoping to get, as we understand it, a young lady who grew up in this town, Deirdre Lynch, to be a guest speaker. Deirdre is hoped to be home, like I said, hope to be home on leave, but she is serving right now on the USS Louisiana, which is a nuclear-powered sub, and we're hoping to ask her to come in to say a few words on that day. Just a few other things, just to go over, of course, Power by the Bay, of course, it's going to be on October 21st, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Harbor Lane and Bay Avenue. Of course, Trunk or Treat will be that same day, right, from 4 o'clock to 6. Talking to Kirk Doty yesterday, he believes that the transition time won't take that long and be able to move along with that. The last thing is tomorrow night, Gregory's will, like they have for the last, I think, 10 years, opens up Oktoberfest at Gregory's, and I've always been asked to be there as ceremonially top the keg. So if anybody's around, stop in at Gregory's tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Frost?
Nothing.
Mr. Smith?
Nothing either, thank you.
Does anyone have a committee report they'd like to offer?
Madam President?
Yes.
This past Monday, Economic Development, we all got together at 6:30 over at the senior building, and really good. We got everybody involved within the meeting, going through marketing with, thanks to our president in the office there, Charles Habicorn, talking about SWOT, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, and we came up with all kinds of good things on the whiteboard, and I'm sure it'll be brought up later on next month with Economic Development Report here in front of City Council.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes from September 14th, 2023?
I'll make that motion. Second.
Any comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The minutes are approved. We have two proclamations.
Well, you look at me, but I'll
Okay, I don't know why, yeah.
City clerk, who always does a fabulous job. So, Madam Clerk, would you do me the honor?
I sure will.
Oh, I think that. Is that it? Yeah. Thank you.
Proclamation number 6 of 2023, Knockout Opioid Abuse Day, October 6, 2023. Whereas New Jersey is in the midst of a life-threatening opioid abuse epidemic, and whereas the Partnership for Drug-Free New Jersey has designated October 6, 2023 as Knockout Opioid Abuse Day, an initiative with multiple purposes to raise awareness of the potential for dependency on prescribed pain medication and its link to heroin and fentanyl use in our state, to reduce stigma of addiction and shine a light on the need for recovery support, and to communicate to physicians information on safer prescribing messages found in the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention guidelines for prescribing opioids, which include considering other therapies, setting realistic treatment goals with patients, and discussing with patients the positives and negatives of opioids. And whereas the State Senate and General Assembly jointly resolved that October 6th shall be permanently designated as Knockout Opioid Abuse Day in New Jersey in order to raise awareness about the dangers of and the link between prescription opioid abuse and heroin addiction, and to educate healthcare providers, community leaders, state lawmakers, and members of the public about the opioid abuse epidemic and its effects through the state of New Jersey and across the country. And whereas joined together, Atlantic County County supports initiatives designed to raise awareness about opioid abuse in New Jersey and take steps to prevent addiction. Therefore, be it resolved that October 6, 2023 be recognized as Knockout Opioid Abuse Day in the city of Summers Point, New Jersey.
Thank you. Madam Clerk. She does it so well.
You got the hard one first.
And
Proclamation number 7 of 2023 proclaiming the month of September as Prostate Cancer Awareness Month. Whereas this year, 288,300 men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer in the United States alone, 1 man every 2 minutes, and roughly 34,700 will die this year from the disease, about 3,500 more than 2020, which is 1 man every 15 minutes. And whereas in New Jersey, an estimated 9,460 new cases of prostate cancer will be diagnosed, and an estimate 730 deaths will occur in 2023. And whereas men with relatives, father, brother, son, with a history of prostate cancer are twice as likely to develop the disease. And whereas prostate cancer is the most commonly diagnosed cancer in American men and the third leading cause of cancer death behind lung and colon cancer. And whereas 1 in 8 men are diagnosed with prostate cancer in their lifetime, and 1 in 6 African American men will develop prostate cancer in their lifetime. Overall, African American men are 1.7 times more likely to be diagnosed with and 2.1 times more likely to die from prostate cancer than Caucasian men. And whereas veterans who were exposed to herbicides like Agent Orange are at increased risk for developing prostate cancer and are more likely to have an aggressive form of the disease. And therefore, be it resolved that the month of September be recognized as Prostate Awareness Month in the city of Summers Point, New Jersey.
thank you, Madam Clerk.
You're welcome, Mayor.
Ordinance number 22.
Ordinance number 22 of 2023, an ordinance enacted under authority NJSA 39:4-197.6 and NJSA 39:4-197.7, granting the authority to establish a restricted parking zone in front of a residence occupied by a handicapped person under certain conditions, amending and supplementing Section 250-50 of Summers Point City Code, repealing all ordinances heretofore adopted, the provisions of which are inconsistent herewith.
May I have, this is the second reading. May I have a motion to open for public comment, please?
I'll make that motion.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We're now open for public comment on ordinance number 22. May I have a motion to close?
Motion to close.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We're now closed for public comment. Could I have a motion for ordinance number 22?
I'll make that motion to adopt.
Second. Any comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ordinance number 22 is adopted. Ordinance number 23.
Ordinance number 23 of 2023, an ordinance amending and supplementing the Summers Point Municipal Code, Chapter 250, Vehicles and Traffic, Article 1, General Provisions, Section 250-8, overnight parking of certain vehicles prohibited.
This is also the second reading. Could I have a motion to open for public
I'll
comment?
make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We're now open for public comment on ordinance number 23. Motion to close?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We're now closed for public comment. May I have a motion to adopt ordinance number 23?
I'll make that motion. Second.
Any comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution number 23 is adopted. May I have a motion to open for public comment on resolutions only?
So I'll make that motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We're now open for public comment on resolutions only.
We have two facts, but not anything to do with that.
I'm sorry, what?
So they made the exception.
Can I have a motion to close?
I'll make that motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We're now closed for public comment. Resolution number 208.
Resolution number 208 of 2023, tax overpayment refund, block 2043, lot 7, qualifier C, 0077.
May I have a motion, please?
So moved. Second.
Any comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution number 208 is adopted. Number 209.
Resolution number 209 of 2023, authorizing the chief financial officer to cancel grant balance.
May I have a motion, please?
I'll make that motion. Second.
Any comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution number 209 is adopted. Resolution number 210.
Resolution number 210 of 2023, authorizing purchase of one Toro Workman MDX utility vehicle through the Educational Services Commission of New Jersey National Cooperative Purchasing Program for contract number 22/23-12, grounds maintenance equipment for the Summers Point Public Works Department.
May I have a motion, please?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Any comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution number 210 is adopted. Number 212.
Resolution number 212 of 2023, authorizing executive session. Any pending or anticipated litigation or contract negotiation in which the public body is or may become a party. Any matters falling within the attorney-client privilege to the extent that confidentiality is required for the attorney to exercise his ethical duties as a lawyer. The nature of the matters to be discussed described as fully as possible while undermining the need for confidentiality. Advice of counsel and attorney-client communication regarding the status of litigation involving the city and its zoning board entitled Garden State Outdoor LLC versus City of Summers Point, City of Summers Point Zoning Board, having a docket number ATLL 14323.
May I have a motion, please?
I'll make that motion. Second.
Any comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And we'll go into executive session at the end of the meeting in the interest of everyone's time. So resolution number 212 is adopted. Number 215.
Resolution number 215 of 2023, authorizing executive session. Any pending or anticipated litigation or contract negotiation in which the public body is or may become a party. Any matters falling within the attorney-client privilege to the extent that confidentiality is required for the attorney to exercise his ethical duties as a lawyer. The nature of the matters to be discussed described as fully as possible without undermining the need for confidentiality. Advice of counsel and attorney-client communication regarding the issue of the existing right-of-way of Broadway in connection with its intersection with MacArthur Boulevard and potential litigation regarding same, as well as its impact on litigation involving the city and its zoning board entitled Garden State Outdoor LLC versus City of Summers Point, City of Summers Point Zoning Board, having a docket number ATLL 14323.
May I have a motion, please?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Any comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. And again, we'll be going into executive at the end of the meeting. Resolution number 216.
Resolution number 216 of 2023, awarding bid for the 2023 emergency stormwater repairs and miscellaneous maintenance contract, namely Seashore Associated Mechanical Contractors, Inc. of Egg Harbor City, New Jersey, in the amount of $228,275.
May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second. Any comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution number 216 is adopted. Number 217.
Resolution number 217 of 2023, hiring school crossing guards.
May I have a motion, please?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Any comments?
Yeah, Council President, I just want to take the time to thank all the crossing guards for the time that they put in. I know it's very hard to find qualified people who want to consistently do this job, and
welcome the new person coming on, but also thank the others who have served for so many years as a crossing guard to protect the children of our community.
Thank you.
Madam President, I'd also like to echo Mr. Dill's words and thank all of these crossing guards for the job they do in keeping an eye on our children. I'd like to make a special shout out to Miss Mary, and I can never pronounce her name correctly, Matacardio, who, as you can see, was hired in 1989, and has the post up the street from my house across from Dawes Avenue, and guided my children for 10 years across that street so long ago. And as I have an opportunity to still drive by her, still walk by her, she still remembers my children's name and still is very friendly and a welcoming presence up there. Thank you.
That's nice. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution number 217 is adopted. Anyone have any resolutions on the consent agenda that they would like to have further discussion? Hearing none, could I have a motion for the consent agenda, please?
I'll make that motion.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The consent agenda is adopted. Anyone have any old business to discuss? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to new business. We need an approval for a social affairs permit for the American Legion on October 15th from 1 to 5 p.m., post 352, fundraiser for veterans. We have approval for that? Everyone, all their paperwork is in?
Yes.
Okay, hearing no objection. Approval for a social affair permit for Cape Shore Corral on November 4th, 2023, from 6 to 9 p.m. at Grace Lutheran Church. And I'm sure all their paperwork is in as well, or
Yes.
be on the...
That's correct.
Okay. Hearing no objection. Approval for a social affair permit for St. Joseph's Church for an event October 20th, 2023, from 5 to 8 p.m. Okay, hearing no objection. We have two draft ordinances in your packet that I hope everyone had time to look at. And Mr. McGuigan, do you want to?
Oh, sure. Yeah, thank you, Madam President. I appreciate these being put on as drafts to give the council an opportunity to review them and offer any input. The first one is relative to our, they're both development ordinances, and the first one is relative to the requirement for plantings or trees on any new development or redevelopment. And this proposed ordinance, I believe, creates a more equitable ordinance and requirement for developments, as it's graduated based on square footage, as opposed to solid, one tree every 1,000 feet, whatever the old ordinance was. This is a little bit more graduate, and it also adds the opportunity, if the development can't support the trees, that we could shift that requirement to city-owned property, or a monetary substitution for that. So if there's any questions or anything on that, both of these ordinances were generated from our hard-working environmental/green team committee.
I have a comment on that.
Sure.
I think this is misplaced. It should go in the planning commission. This is not a planning committee. I don't believe we should be dictating to homeowners this tree ordinance that you're talking about. I think the planning commission is the place to put this. I think it has to go through that process. It makes more sense, and I would say no to this, quite frankly.
When you say planning commission, you mean the planning board?
Planning board, yes, I'm
Okay,
sure.
sure. The planning, well, just as a point of order,
Yeah.
there already is a requirement in our code book for the requirement for trees in development.
Yeah.
And this is modifying it and doing it a little bit more equitable way.
Right.
And adding the feature of being able to move the trees off if they don't fit the development or the development can't support them.
Right.
As far as the planning commission, and, the planning commission doesn't write code, they comment on the code.
Right.
And I believe, and Mr. Smith will correct me, this would have to go to the planning board for the review, very similar to the way we sent the proposed cannabis ordinance. The planning board doesn't write code, that's us.
But
The governing
I still think that this is something that, quite frankly, we're putting a burden on an individual when they build a house. They were telling them that they have to put a tree there.
Right.
I don't think that's fair.
Well, just understand, and I appreciate your opinion, but just understand something, that burden is already there.
Well,
It's the same as a burden if there's a sidewalk requirement. Same thing. I mean, there are development requirements, like a curb also.
Yeah.
You could point to them and say that they are burdens. But again, certainly your opinion, but
Yeah.
we do have that ability here to modify that. And as I explained, this is a modification of an existing requirement, so.
Yeah. I still think it's not necessary at this point in time.
Sure.
Okay.
All right.
What is the, I'm sorry, what is the burden to the resident now?
I could look up the code real quick, or if we have a second, or, John, you know that off the top of your head? Hate to put you on the spot there.
Of course he knows it.
Good idea.
Do I have to be sworn in, or?
No.
Okay. John Helbig, 106 East Dawes Avenue. Joe, just to answer your question, the way this came about, most of our landscaping requirements in our development code apply to commercial development and redevelopment.
Right.
And there are occasions where a commercial developer comes in, and we have, as Councilman McGuigan indicated, we have existing requirements. But in some cases, because of site triangles, because of the geometry of a project site, trees simply can't be planted because they would block the view of people exiting or entering the driveways, this kind of thing. So all this does is provide additional flexibility so that if that developer can't plant trees on that property, as he's currently required to do, it gives them the ability to go to the city and plant those trees on public property with council's approval, either along our bike path, in one of our parks, where we could certainly use some additional trees. And it also changes the ratio of the number of trees that have to be planted. And I think it's a lot fairer than what's there now. When you're talking about single-family homes, our ordinance requires 2 trees to be planted on a property when someone rebuilds or builds a new home. That's not being changed. That's exactly the same as it is now. All this really does is change the commercial development kind of stuff.
And I'll read the existing code as it is now. 2 trees consisting of 8 feet minimum height at planting for each 1,000 square foot of floor area in accordance with the planning schedule, tree specification, and the suggested list of tree species available from the construction official. So it would be 2 trees per 1,000 feet, but as you can see in this proposed or draft resolution, that's graduated. So if we're building something 30,000 square feet, under this, you'd be required for 60 trees, which would be somewhat burdensome.
Well, I'm certainly not against trees, and I would like to see what the planning board has to say about it.
Well, that brings up the interesting discussion we've had before, Mr. Smith, where my thought was that we introduce, then send to the planning board, where, not to put words in your mouth, we send it to the planning board first. And you are the solicitor, so I will...
Thank you.
Yield to you.
Everything you said earlier was just magnificent, and I just want to point that out to Councilman Harry. You did a
Right.
good job.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what he said.
Please, don't do that.
That's all right. I didn't hear what he said. What did he say?
Characterizing what I had said earlier. My position that we not send witnesses down after first reading, that we prepare them, we review them, we come to a consensus of what we think we want, and then we send it down via resolution. And the only thing I can say here is we're running short on time ordinance-wise in 2023, so I don't know how you want to handle this, if you want me to go back over with Councilman Reagan, some of the language here. If you want to send it to the planning board, their meeting is the third Wednesday.
Third Wednesday of the month, yeah. That would be October,
So we'd have to get it
October like 18th or something like that.
this month, next month.
Yeah, and we only have one meeting in November and one meeting in December.
Yeah, so we're kicking the can around a little bit, but we could at least anticipate that there would be a majority of the people who are sitting here tonight will be here next year. So if they're interested.
Should be.
If you're interested.
At least the majority. Hope so.
We can start to work on it.
Well, I want to get everybody else's input.
Well, I just think
Are there any
that
other-
Joe's correct, I think, that when he says that this is something that probably should be handled when the planning board does the master plan, redoes the master plan, but doesn't have to be.
Okay, I guess the key is I don't have a major issue with addressing this because having sat on the planning board for 15 years, it seems like, the discussion comes up about trees and things of that nature. And again, my concern is that no matter what we have in writing, either currently or in the future with this ordinance, that somehow, some way that it's followed up on as far as requiring the people to move forward with whatever the ordinance says. The other thing is this type of ordinance, like any other ordinance, the applicant can always request a variance, is that right? So then it would be ultimately the planning board's decision whether or not to require them to do it, to change it to some degree, or whatever based on what the project is. So no matter what we pass as an ordinance, the planning board and the applicant have a right to amend the variance based on hardship. Am I correct?
Well, yes, I mean, that's what I suspect the intent is, to have the readjustment, the allocation of trees from the subject property that's before the planning board and city property, but then you have certain issues as to the approval of the planting of the trees from the city property.
Right. Okay.
Okay, I agree with Mr. McCary that I just think this is a planning board. I think it should be handled on a case-to-case basis, depending on what the development is, and I don't like the onus of putting it on a developer that he has an added expense to put trees somewhere else. I think we can figure out other ways to get trees planted. I'm also not against trees by any means, but I think it causes problems down the road with you put trees near a parking lot, and 10 years from now or 20 years from now or however long it takes for the roots to grow, you have a problem. So I just think common sense, it should be handled on a case-by-case basis. That's just my thoughts. So. Mr. Owen, you have any questions?
Well, we are in the tree planting season right now, so with this comes with new development. You talk about new development with new construction, not residential, really getting geared towards business than compared to residential, which I'm okay with. But at the same time, planning, have it come in front of the planning, and if the new developer wants to voluntarily go forward with transferring to city property, I'm okay with that.
I like it. Because it's already in effect that they have to do it, right? So it's just giving the option to put it somewhere else, right? I think that's a very good thing.
But more.
Why is it more?
More quantity
More
of trees.
trees.
Oh, we're adding more trees to the property?
This
And
would
it-
add more trees.
and it's also-
Responsibilities.
Putting a well, I don't know that it's a lot, but it's still a financial thing as well, that they have to pay for the trees to be planted somewhere else.
I still like it.
Just a point of order, and maybe this is being lost. The current code requires 2 trees per every 1,000 square feet. This draft code is 2 trees per every 1,000 feet, up to 10,000 feet. Between 10,000 and 30,000, it's 1 tree per 2,000. Over 30,000, it's 1 tree per 5,000. So this is less of a requirement for the number of trees than what the current code is.
For the large
And it does not have, and this gives the ability to a developer, if the trees don't make sense or don't work on that it can be transferred to public land.
Who makes the decision that it doesn't make sense?
That would be the planning board.
Council President, at this point, I just think that it would be a wise thing to send it down to the planning board, get their opinion on it, so that not only, because it's obvious, this council is split to some degree. I don't know what the degree is, but there is some split as far as whether or not to pass this ordinance or not. And personally, I would like to see what the planning board has to say as far as the formula that Mr. McGuigan has come up with and the need for it based on our current ordinance. So my recommendation would be is to vote to approve it being sent to the planning board for their input before we make a final decision, one way or the other.
Everybody okay with that, or
Yeah.
Mr. Campos?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bruno, yes?
Sounds good.
Okay, well,
Great.
send it to the-
Thank you for that.
Okay.
Could we also maybe see a comparison of, because I did read the current one, but like most ordinances, I want to make sure I'm reading it right, so
What do you want?
comparison of what the requirements are now and what you want to change them to.
Sure, I can, I'll email that to you.
Put it right in the resolution that is sending it down.
Sure.
Yeah.
We'll have a resolution for the next council meeting, I suspect, whether I do it or...
Do we need to do that? We can't do that.
Or Solicitor McGuigan.
We can't just do that based on this vote?
Just an informal
You have to do a
part.
resolution, Council.
I make a motion to waive the 48-hour rule.
Second.
No, I want to see the resolution before I do that. I'm not voting for something else, like, that's not written yet.
You have a
It's a
motion.
better day.
I'm not voting for something that's not written yet, sorry.
You have a motion on the second, so technically to...
Okay. Well, let's do a roll call.
Roll call.
Clarification is yes to pass the
Vote for a
resolution?
resolution that's not written yet.
To pass a resolution in the normal course.
Okay, so a yes would be to pass it tonight.
As the gas would be to,
McGuigan made an application to waive the 48-hour
Right,
rule.
and it was seconded.
To have a resolution
written, it would pass.
that says...
It's not written yet, so we're voting for something that's not written yet.
Okay,
Or we can wait and have
the informal resolution.
draft, yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So again, for clarity, a yes would be to do it tonight and just move it forward without waiting for the formal resolution.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
This meets the requirement of 48-hour waiver, but so be it. you know.
Don't you have to do that in the beginning?
Sure, what?
Don't you have to do that in the beginning of the meeting?
No, we
Can't
can
just do it.
we can do it.
Okay,
Just,
okay.
Councilmember Bruno?
Yes.
Councilmember Owen?
Yes.
Yes.
Councilmember DePamphlis?
I'd like to wait to see it.
That's no.
So no.
No.
Councilmember McCary?
No?
Councilmember McGuigan?
Yes.
Councilmember Dill?
Yes.
Council President Johnston?
No.
So now you want to make a motion for the 48-hour waiver to adopt by title only? Is that what we do? There you go.
So what is that?
I'm sorry, what's that now?
Yeah, clarification.
A motion to adopt resolution number, we don't know, because it's not written yet,
Well, we'd probably be number 218, right?
Yeah, 218.
Right.
under name only.
Okay.
Motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Again, let's do a roll call vote. Any further comments? I'm not comfortable voting on a resolution that I don't have in front of me to read. So we're making a recommendation to the planning board that I haven't seen it, so
Just a point of clarification.
That's my-
The resolution would only say, we agreed to send the draft resolution to the planning board
For their review.
for their review, and yeah,
And recommendations.
yeah.
And that's the one we have in front of us that is written.
No,
The ordinance.
no.
No, it's not.
No, it's
To send that draft ordinance, the resolution, we're just saying that we agree to send it to the planning board.
Okay.
okay. We'll do a roll call again, just so we're clear.
Okay, so
Wait,
for,
we already passed it, right? So
No, we waived the 48-hour rule. That's what we voted on.
that's what we did?
Yes.
I thought we voted on the
No.
No,
ordinance already.
that was to waive the 48-hour rule, so now we're voting on the resolution
To send it to the
to send
planning
it to the
board
planning board.
for their review.
Okay. Okay.
Councilmember Bruno?
Yes.
Councilmember Owen?
Yes.
Councilmember DePamphlis?
No?
Councilmember McCary?
No?
Councilmember McGuigan?
Yes.
Councilmember Dill?
Yes.
Council President Johnston?
No. Okay. so- Okay.
All right, let's, if we could talk about the next one here.
This one down a little.
Same sort of discussion here. This is again a development ordinance, and this is regarding bike parking spaces or bike racks. And as a community, or as a council, we've passed numerous efforts to become a bike-friendly community and so forth, and this sort of goes hand in hand with that. And this adds the this language to the code, and it says suitable provisions for bicycle parking to be provided on-site based on the type, scale of use proposed, so long as a minimum of 5 bicycle parking spaces are provided. And it's just generally left that way for interpretation so that the planning board can have maximum input when they're reviewing a proposed development. But it puts that, it gives them an opportunity, and we've talked about this for years, to add bicycle racks or bicycle parking spaces. Any questions or concerns on that one?
Yeah, I do. With bike racks, and I don't see any dimension down here.
Right.
I guess there's someplace else. So, for instance...
No, it was, like I said, it was generally left, I don't want to use the word vague, but general, so that the planning board can have that input to
Right.
request or have something that's put in that fits with the proposed development.
So in other words, I have a business, I have to put a bike rack out in front of it? Is that what you're saying?
You have to make a provision for parking for bicycles, yes.
So if I have a business and I don't want to put a bike rack out in front, then I have to get a variance, I have to go through another process, or do I have
No,
to?
that process for a variance would be during your application to the planning board.
Mr. McGuigan, this is just for development and redevelopment purposes, right? This
Correct.
isn't for
This is not for
existing
existing
businesses?
buildings, no.
Okay.
No,
So-
There's all grandfathered in.
So old businesses that are there, they don't have to put the bike rack in, but the new businesses have to if you open up a new shop and you've got to put something out front.
Correct.
I just find that when you put the more pressure on the business owner to do something other than open up his business, he has to think about something else that he has to do.
Sure.
I think that having a bike rack in front of your business makes a lot of sense in many ways because you're a friendly community, everyone rides the bike, right? But at the same time, I think that should be left up to the business owner to decide whether he wants to do that or not. I think that when you come in here and you open up a business, the last thing you want to do is be dictated and say, hey, listen, this is what you have to do in terms of a bike rack because we want to be, we want to have this. And I don't know, I just feel that as a business owner myself, now, obviously, some people on council have never owned a business. And they don't understand that there's a lot of cost associated with the business when you open it up and all the things you're going through and the loans you get. And now all of a sudden you're adding something else to that business that they may have not thought about, or they may be real tight. And how much does a bike rack cost? Like a 5-unit bike rack is what you're talking about here, right?
Yes.
How much do they cost?
Oh, that I don't have that.
I think I'd like to have more information about that, if that was the case, so that we can make a good decision that, okay, someone's moving in and opening up a business, then the cost associated with this, in the cement, putting it in, whatever the things they have to do, is that a $500 cost, $1,000 cost, $2,000? Is the driveway in the way? There's a lot of things to be thought about there. So I'd just like to have more information. I wouldn't mind going in this direction, but I think we should table it until we can get more specific information.
We're not voting on it.
Pardon me?
We're not voting on it tonight, so there's no tabling or anything of that nature.
It's just,
We're just open for discussion yet.
We weren't voting on the last one.
we have no idea whether we're going to vote on it or not, right? So, who knows what's going to happen tonight? Anyway, I think that business owners shouldn't be pushed in a certain direction for something that they didn't anticipate when they come into the city. So,
Sure. And I can appreciate your thought, and certainly, I like to consider myself, business-friendly or promoting business.
Right.
Certainly.
I do too, yeah.
But there are zoning laws, and there are a lot of zoning laws, as I'm sure you know as a business owner, that, and a lot of them could be, overly burdensome. But I think that as we progress towards a more bike-friendly community, and I don't think anybody up here will argue that riding a bike in place of some of this automobile traffic that we have is a good thing, and I think that this promotes this. I think that while this may be considered a burden, I think it's a good thing for the community, and I think it will help the community and again promote that use of bicycles.
I'm all in favor of the community, but I'd still like to see a little bit more information based upon costs and everything associated with a business owner moving in, and here's part of the cost that you have to take care of when you move into Somers Point, open a business in terms of their bike rack. I mean, I would like to have that information. I opened a storefront in the city. I'd like to have the information up front before I do it, so I would not be in favor of doing this immediately.
Question, does this have to go before the planning board also?
Yes.
So we're basically in the same situation as we were with the previous offering of the ordinance, or am I wrong?
So here's the issue. Do it by a formal resolution, send it down, we have 30 days, so our first meeting is...
October 12th.
Right.
October 12, come then.
Right.
And then, so you have to get it back by November 12 to us, which means they would have to review it and consider it in their October meeting, which would be the following week after the 12th. Then, I don't know when our meeting.
November 9th.
So.
So it's October 12th, October 26th, November 9th.
So that would mean that you're not going to, have this, you're not going to be able to vote on this as an ordinance, because that would be November 9th.
get back to us, you can. If not, hypothetically, you can. Hypothetically, you could run into it where you could disguise it at the zoning Thursday. The new council comes in and has to
Start over again.
all over again. And I'm not, no one's allowed to look at Councilman Wiggin.
Okay.
That's what my wife says.
Don't do it. That's okay. I guess he went home and looked at the calendar, and that's why he...
I would say that if we decide, this council decides to move forward, and when the planning board looks at it on, I believe, the 18th of October, based on their fast response to the cannabis ordinance, I would assume that these two ordinances would be quickly responded to in time for us to either vote this ordinance up or vote this ordinance down. So I think we should, I guess we should move forward with forwarding it to the planning board.
What you were going to recommend in the issue.
I disagree. I think we need more information. Again, we don't know what the cost would be to a business owner, and here we are putting the onus on them again. And I just feel like that's not being business friendly, and EDAC's working hard to bring people here, and we're nitpicking here and there. We can certainly ask, and every time we have, they do it, but I just, I think we have enough existing businesses that I'd love to see, let's do a campaign to ask them to put one in, but I just feel like, we're just adding all this extra stuff for, extra hoops for people to jump through that are going to cost them more money, so I have a hard time. Anybody else have any questions? Any comments?
Anybody come here on a bicycle? No?
Who's raining?
Yeah, not fair, it's raining.
Well, we have a bike rack, yes, sir.
Here we go.
Yes, we do.
One right at the end of the parking lot.
Okay.
Right at the end of the parking lot.
I don't think I have a problem with the bike rack, but I think we should make them put it underneath the new trees.
There you go. Yeah, I want my bike parked in the shade.
I make a motion, we waive the 48-hour rule to do a resolution. Bring it to the planning board.
Just to get it over for discussion, I'll second that.
Thank you.
Just again, my same suggestion. I don't know if these things quite make the 48-hour rule of an emergency.
Well, do they or don't they? This is not an emergency, so I don't,
But you can, you got a motion on the table, you got a second, so you have to vote on it.
All right, roll call, please.
I serve no purpose.
This vote is for waiving the 48-hour rule, and then we can vote on the resolution. Or moving the resolution down to the planning board. So can I have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Bruno?
Yes.
Councilmember Owen?
Yes.
Councilmember DePamphlis?
No?
Councilmember McCary?
No.
Councilmember McGuigan?
Yes.
Councilmember Dill?
Yes.
Council President Johnston?
No. So now we need a motion to pass a resolution that we don't have in front of us and haven't read yet and hasn't even been written yet, but to, a motion to send it down to the planning board.
For their review, consideration, and any advice they want to give on it.
Right. Could I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
And a roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Bruno?
Yes.
Councilmember Owen?
Well, you figure it could be a package deal, so yes.
Councilmember DePamphlis?
No.
Councilmember McCary?
No.
Councilmember McGuigan?
Yes.
Councilmember Dill?
Yes.
Council President Johnston?
No. Let's move on to discussion of the bills. Mr. Frost.
All right. So this evening's bill list, $371,979.43, as well as a record of payments dated September 20th in the amount of $182.32, and an additional record of payments in the amount of $60. That was the one that required the 48-hour waiver.
Thank you. May I have a motion to open for public comment, please?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We are now open for public comment. Tom, are we just doing just the name and no longer?
Just a name, no address.
No address.
Daniel's Law.
Yeah.
It's less work for me,
I got it.
Mr. Smith.
Yeah, sure.
Yes, please.
Can they say, can we ask if they're from Summers Point or no?
I think ask them from the town they live in, I guess, if that's where you want to, that's your,
Okay.
you can't ask them for their specific address like that.
Wow.
People don't give the address, they ask you the street anyway.
All right, there's a new law, Daniel's Law, so we're no longer asking you to give your address, just your name, first and last name, please. And if you'd like to tell us what town you live in, we would appreciate that, or I would appreciate that.
Ed O'Donnell, Summers Point.
Thank you.
My charity, Penn, University of Pennsylvania gave us 32 free tickets to the Penn Georgetown football game, October 7th. And we'll be taking low-income inner-city kids, getting them gifts, books, and so forth. And then we helped with 2 back-to-school supplies days, Northfield and Pennsauken. But here's the good news. A good number of people in Summers Point gave me financial donations for these projects. There are a lot of good people left in the world, I'm telling you. And then the second thing, if you want to be happy, become an activist. Write letters to the editor. We're looking at a great activist here with my friend. Write letters to the editor. Call radio talk shows, speak at city council meetings, speak at other meetings, speak at Bible study meetings, speak at Sunday school meetings, have peaceful, nonviolent, legal protests. It gives you a great feeling because you're building a better world and helping people. And then I am the first person from Summers Point, going back to the beginning of Summers Point, to run for President of the United States. And I go to New Hampshire soon to do so.
Wow.
But, yeah, I've run for 38 years. But the Philadelphia TV stations promised me 2 years ago they'd do an interview, but they haven't done it. Now, here's the reason they haven't done it. One, they give no coverage to the lesser-known candidates for President of the United States, many of whom are some of the most sincere people I've ever met, and some of whom would be good presidents of the United States. Second, if you criticize Philadelphia television news media, they won't give you any coverage, and I've criticized them. We all deserve criticism at some point, including me, but they won't give you coverage if you criticize them. Third, these reporters at Philadelphia TV stations, they believe any false accusation that any vicious person wants to make about somebody. So we got a problem there. And then David Nahan, the Sentinel, he promised me 18 months ago he would do an article about me running for president because I stress issues being ignored. And he's promised me 30 times since then. He still hasn't done it. Now, he prints negative articles about negative things. He prints letters to the editor, some of which are vicious attacks on people, but he can't do an article on this. So the Philadelphia TV News and Sentinel, they should do an article on this.
Just to clarify, that's not the Ocean City Sentinel.
Oh, okay. It's the Sentinel.
Right.
Right.
The reporter's not here, but it's not the Ocean City Center.
Right, and it covers Summers Point as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.
Good luck. Yeah.
Patricia Pearson, 587 Marks Road, Summers Point. I came in late, so I'm just listening to this master plan part. And I have to tell you something. This master plan is very serious. And you really have to step up and think about it. You know about it. But the bottom line is, if you look at Bay Avenue, it is half a ghetto, and that's a hard word. But you have to look at this master plan seriously and see if you can't get more tax revenue out of Bay Avenue, have more people come, develop more. There's no place on the eastern seaboard where a hospital has a park on the bay in a small town that needs revenue. That's just an impossible situation right there. And then just pick it up and look around, or come over my garage and I'll show you all the plans that have went down, because of all kinds of things. So all I'm telling you is a master plan is a very serious thing. When you put bike racks up, when you put trees up, when you do this and that, that's all picture book things, picture book. When Mr. and Mrs. Nobody is going to get a loan to get a small business and start it in your town somewhere in a small area, and then they add the bike rack, then you add the 3, 4, 5, 10 trees, whatever you're adding, and then you keep adding and adding. You are lessening your group of who's going to do business in your town. Only the big boys. Only the big boys are coming to town because you're making it too hard. Too hard. So I overstated this a little bit, but I want you to see the picture, and I want you to understand how important a master plan is, and how do normal people, average people, go in business in this town. So pay attention to it, please. Thank you.
Thank you. Motion to close?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We're now closed for public comment. Motion to pay the bills, please. Somebody wants to pay our bills?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We can pay our bills. Any further comment from the governing body?
Council President.
Yes, Mr. Dell.
First of all, I'd like to recognize Mr. Helbig for the time he puts into the city, and the work that he does and the recommendations that he comes through City Council for. I think this whole council appreciates it, but I most certainly do appreciate your efforts. And the only other thing, too, is in connection to EDAC and the comments that were made by the public. We have a very active EDAC, and we have a public relations company that's doing a fantastic job trying to make sure that this city is recognized and attracts people to come in and either purchase and develop property. We as a governing body, the EDAC or the Public Relations Commission, have no control over what developers want to do, where they want to do it, or property owners who wish to sell or not sell their properties. So I think that the city is doing everything they possibly can to attract businesses and to attract development, and I just think that that should be on public record. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam President?
Yes, Mr. McGuire.
You know, there are, certainly I would never sit up here, and I've sat up here for 16 years and say that there's not things in this community that need to be addressed. But to characterize any part of this community as a ghetto is just a disservice to us, a disservice to the community, and just flat out wrong. Thank you.
Okay, could I have a motion to adjourn, please?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
We'll be beginning
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, we will be going into executive session. I don't believe we'll be taking any action when we come back, but you're more than welcome to hang out in the lobby on that uncomfortable bench.
So we have a recess?
And we'll see,
5-minute recess?
Okay, I'll take 5.
for your pleasure.